So let's welcome Anthony. He is unbelievable. Now, let me just say this. Anthony, Facebook Nation, he's a creator because I remember when he first said Facebook Nation, I says, what is this guy? Wait, hold on, I gotta follow this guy. So there's so much talent here. And the company that he works for, Automax, right? They really have a product for the automotive industry, and I'm going to let Anthony answer this. Their recruitment, but they have the human resource. They put the right person in the right place, and that's something that the automotive industry needs. For an example, my good friend Brandon, he spends so much time. He has a human resource background because he works for the OEMs. And you want to know something, Anthony, tell us a little bit about your process for dealers to when they see this, call them tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely, Richie. Thank you so much for having the opportunity to be here. I'm just trying to share it out here for everyone to see it here. And I'm really, really appreciative that you changed the time for me. Since I was doing interviews today, and I had a dinner with our dealer client, Adam Marburger, tonight. Yeah, basically what we do is, I'm an independent contractor for Automax recruiting and training. I'm in my 23rd year in the automotive industry, my 4th year as a recruiter trainer, and we recruit, interview, and train salespeople and BDC representatives and staff any position in the store from floor to the president is what we do. With it. So we have different unique processes that we do. We have on-site training. We have off-site training, remote recruiting as well. But we screen the applicant and we do the advertising, screen the applicant and find the best quality of applicants for our dealer clients across the United States and Canada.
Wow. Anthony, it's an amazing thing what you guys do because the dealership needs this product. If I would have in my company, a company like yours, with a guy like you, right, I would hire you because human resources is important. Even in the catering side, my partner's got catering halls, right? Even in that side, and in my company myself, sometimes you hire somebody and I don't know, and I don't really interview, other people in my team do. But you want to know something? I would use this product. I've seen dealers hire salespeople, general managers in 5 or 10 minutes because they don't have enough people on the floor. Okay, as a matter of fact, I sent one of my friends that's never in the car business somewhere, and he told me they didn't even ask him anything. They hired him right away. So that's not good. That's not a good process to have. And if they have enough guys on the floor, they might not hire them, but somebody might come in with tremendous talent. So that's why it's got to be a third party is what I agree with because dealers do not have any human resource. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a very good point that you brought up there. I think the first point is when it comes to the hiring process, usually this is what happens for a dealership. Hey, do you need some help? No, I'm good. I'm good. I can do it myself. I'm fine. We're fully staffed. We're fine. And then some time goes by, and there's a busy Saturday because we know Saturday's the busiest day in the car business week. And you end up having your salespeople that are doubled up with customers, and then customers walk out the door, and somebody freaks the hell out. And you say, you better call Automax, you better call Anthony, and you get him up there. When can you get here? And then they're drafting out of need versus drafting out of power. So, yeah, that's okay that you can do it that way. But to be consistent and to bring people aboard, even if you feel you have enough, if somebody deserves an opportunity, they deserve an opportunity. And they shouldn't be, not given the opportunity because you feel that your staff is full or because you don't have enough desks. Go buy a desk, for God's sake. It's not the end of the world. So I think that's the first part of the process there is when you have the initial need, maybe it's just good to be consistent and keep doing that. And I like to use the example of the San Francisco 49ers back in the late 80s when they had Joe Montana, Steve Young, and Steve Bono. Now, Steve Bono was never a Hall of Fame quarterback like Steve Young and Montana were, but he was much better than the third-string quarterback. He was very serviceable. At one point, he was a starter in the NFL. That was a good problem for George Seifert to have, the head coach of the Niners back then. So wouldn't we want to have that in our stores to be able to have that best quality of applicants and find spots for them? So instead of drafting out of need, drafting out of best available. And if you look at the NFL teams that are most successful, they do that.
And you know what, Anthony, I'm glad you brought that up, because my good friend, Dr. John, I've been with him at the Nicholson Group, at Reynolds, and at Polk. And that's what they had with him, because he had testing, character, personality, and all that. And a lot of time he interviews, he picks and chooses, right? And he puts them in the right place. At Polk, maybe somebody would have been good for data, or maybe somebody would have been good for a consultant, or somebody would have been good in technology. You know, they measure the talent, and then development-wise, they put modules together for training, because now you match this person with this training. That's going to work for them. So you got a better shot of succeeding than hiring somebody, building a career night, putting a career night together, hiring somebody, and that's it. And then hope that your module works. And then dealers say, you know what, this guy's training is not good. Well, wait a minute. We're not looking at the whole thing. Just like the lead gen, I drive leads to dealers. Sometimes they tell me that leads doesn't work. Wait a minute. Have you ever thought that maybe it's your process? Because if other stores are delivering 14 to 15%, right, and penetrating the market, why ain't you?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So dealers don't get that. Oh, this training is no good. No, it's maybe your process. It's maybe the wrong person that's listening to your training. Why does Jim Ellis, why is Brandon so successful? Because Brandon spends a lot of time interviewing people, analyzing people, and the numbers show he's number one in CPO. He's number one in new cars across all different brands. They got 18 dealerships, right? When he was at DCH, it was the same thing. And the other thing that there is, I have an institute, you know, when I kick that off, I really want to sit down with your company, because recruitment is very important. I can have a career night, and then I can train vets. And what do? I put them in dealerships, and they're not going to succeed. You know, so there is a big difference, you know, and that's why I wanted to invite you, because I've been watching what you guys do, and I've been learning more about Automax. I really didn't know Automax, to be honest with you, before your time. I know that the owner, yeah, he's on my LinkedIn and all that, but I really didn't know what you guys did. I thought it was like the old times, you know, you hire, you recruit, and you put salespeople, and you have them buy a course or something for $300,000, and the dealership gives it back to you, whatever. But I didn't know, you know, that you actually spend time into your human resource first, and then a trainer and a consultant. That's lethal for a dealership.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I'm an owner, that's the training company I want to hire, because they're taking responsibility of hiring the right people for the right job. You might interview somebody, and you might say, you know what, this person is perfect for BDC because he's left brain, right? Then you hire somebody like me that's totally right brain, and he's good for sales. So you guys have that. That's your DNA. So you guys have that. So I say to myself, Mr. Dealer, there's a great solution out there for you to succeed. Instead of hiring a trainer and hoping that his modules work to an audience that might not be. It's the same thing in marketing, you know. When you do marketing and you don't hit the right audience, you're not going to convert. Well, guess what? It's the same way in training. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think, you know, when it comes to that, I mean, it's just so many good points you had there. I'm not even sure where to start. You know, when it comes to that, but you know, when you have your process, and you have the recruiting process as far as the interview, It's important to have a scripted interview. It's important to make sure that you were on point when it comes to things. You mentioned before earlier about getting people hired within 5 minutes, or okay, you're hired right away, or something like that. You want to make sure that you really understand the applicant, and you got to look past the talent, look past the resume. I'm sitting here with applications for my training class tomorrow, and look past that. You look at the character of the person and the hunger and desire in their eyes. Here's a perfect example of this. I interviewed a young lady this morning, late this morning. And I'm going through the process, and she's very nervous, and you see it. And I could see in her eyes, she's a confidence issue. She's a confidence issue, Richie. And I sat there and I did my scripted interview, but I knew in order to get the best version of herself, I was going to have to call an audible. And for those that aren't football fans, it's changing the play. Changed a little play, and I spent a little bit more time with her. And she needed a little bit of time to process this. It's not a problem at all. I said, I'll give you a call around 5 today and let me know. I said, I'm okay. If it's not for you, it doesn't make you a bad person. It's all right. But hopefully I'm able to give you some information to impact your life, as I want to leave you better than how I found you. But if it is yes, and I expect you to, if you say yes, to honor your word and be there tomorrow. So, I called her back tonight, and she had some more questions, and I just kind of went off of some things and gave her that. And she was very grateful to be able to understand that. Now, from a regular dealer standpoint, can you put forth the time to do that? Now, I don't know if our dealer client's going to hire her or not come Friday. I hope they do. But I know she's come to class, and I know right now she's in a position of gratitude, and she appreciates that I took the time to do that. And that's what we want to look for when it comes to onboarding and hiring process. I had a dealer tell me in late April they were looking to do hiring. And I noticed it, and I reached out to them. They know who I am. I said, hey, do you want some help? No, Ann, I'm good on this one. Okay, no problem at all. What are you looking for? Do you have the time? He goes, yeah, I'm going to interview them, and I'm going to bring them aboard the first week in June. I said, well, we're in late April. Yeah, I know. Well, okay. I hope that works for you. But, in the car industry, if you have somebody come in, they want to buy a car, do you tell them that they're going to be spotted a month later? That doesn't work. What's the old school car saying? If you don't spot them, you don't got them. That's the old school. That goes back to, when we both started, years ago, and the millennials don't understand that term, but that's how it was back then. You don't spot them, you don't got them, right? So same thing with your employees and their retention. It's important that you spot your employees again to start as soon as possible, and make sure you have it that way. Well, I'm not ready for that. Well, why aren't you ready for it? I don't have enough desks. I don't have enough people. I don't have time to train them. Okay. Well, how do they say it in New York and Philly, right? I know a guy. I got a guy. Right? Yeah, so it's just that's the real process with it. And again, don't get me wrong. Every dealer can do what we do at Automax. Yes, you absolutely can, Mr. Dealer Client, Miss Dealer Client. But do you have the time to do it? And then you have to ask yourself that $1 million question. The time that you would invest in putting out a proper ad, where to advertise it, and I have news for you. Throwing an ad up on Indeed doesn't get you the best quality of applicants.
Absolutely not.
And for technicians, forget about it, as we would say. That's not how you get techs. Keep that in mind.
No.
So the proper ad, and then when they come in as an inquiry and application, are you getting back to them like that? That's what you need to do. Just like that, you have to get back to them. To do that, and they'll take the time when they come in for the interview. What usually happens? You're working 2 deals at once. A third salesperson needs an appraisal. Behind him is one of the ladies in accounting looking for clarification what you put in the back screen of a deal 2 days ago. Behind her is one of the service writers looking for a $1,500 okay for use car safety check. The other is texting you how many deals you have out for the day. You haven't had your CIT meeting yet. You have a $500,000 at the street. And now your receptionist, we'll just say Brittany, comes up and says, hey, that interview you said a week ago, she's here. Now, what's your response? Oh, all you want to do is have a cheesesteak. It's just, well, here, have her fill an application out. And now she fills the application out and gets it done in 15 minutes and 12 seconds. But you don't sit down with her until 28 minutes and 22 seconds later. Now, those 13 minutes, her mind is starting to turn a little bit. And she's watching and thinking, I guess I'm not important. Maybe there's a stereotype. Maybe my outfit isn't good enough. Then she looks around, sees a bunch of guys, and sees one woman on the floor. And these are the things that happen in the car industry. And now when you do interview her, it's like she's already lost. And even if you do bring her aboard, do you have the proper onboarding process happening? Are you giving them your time? That's you give somebody your time. The best thing to give somebody your time, or are you just kind of letting it go and fly by the seat of the pants? Well, guess what? They'll be around for 4 or 5 weeks, but really that first day they mentally checked out and they put their resume back online. I mean, this is just reality. What goes through that, and it's sad. It really is, And we have to ask ourselves, where is that line when it comes to the investment? Are we willing to invest in our people? Jonathan Dawson, my friend, he put a post today up about how a dealer was averaging 270 cars a month. They are now averaging 70 cars a month. I don't know the details of why. And they reached out to Jonathan for Jonathan's training with psychology. And Jonathan, I guess, gave him the investment. And the response was, that's too much. We're not interested.
Right.
But how much is that costing? I mean, they had a production drop of almost 75%, and it's like they don't want to invest now to their people. That's a little bit tough. I mean, it's just, where do you go with that? And I put a comment there. I said, my friend, I feel you. I've been told that before, and it's just, well, we got to figure out ways just to be able to swallow the ego, like I told you off camera before, and let's just help people, with it. I mean, that's all we want to do. And again, I mean, off camera, you said a lot of nice things about me, but I mean, it's a total team effort with Automax. I couldn't do what I do without, the team at Automax. And for me personally, there were 6 training companies that told me to get bent. They said, Anthony, you weren't a GM, you weren't an owner, you never had a piece of the store, so I guess you can't be a trainer. Okay. But Craig and Ernie, they didn't look at that. They didn't judge my book by its cover. They didn't look at this hot-headed Italian that, never was a GM before, and I guess we can't help. They saw something in me, and I was not a natural recruiter when I started. I had natural training ability because of being 19 years selling cars, working as a trainer, but I was able to develop through the grace and the tutelage of Automax to be a natural recruiter, which is an art. It absolutely is, dealers.
And one of the things, Anthony, you're a great merchandiser. Okay? I got to tell you that. You're great at merchandising yourself. And you're a great marketer. And that's talent. That comes from being in the car business. We all came from the car business, that you had to be a merchandiser first, and then you had to be a marketer, because you had problems if you didn't. So you said something before that's very important. When I got here to Long Island, I was at Apple Honda. I was sent out here by Dr. John Minarchik. Okay. Let me tell you what I did. They have a local newspaper called Newsday. I looked at the want ads in Newsday. And I said, aha, there's dealers that every week are looking for help wanted salespeople. I said, this is a great infamy. All right. Because now I know they can retain salespeople. So you know what I got to do is set up a process and retain salespeople. So the Nicholson Group came down and we put it together. Let me tell you something. I saw that. Well, guess what? Your customers see that you're turning your people around also. Okay. This store fixed the problem after he was told that to do, right? A pretty big group every week on Newsday. Let me tell you something. Customers know when you're looking for help. They know it based on social media today. They know it based on Indeed. So now a customer is looking at that too. Okay. And the stores that hire a company professionally, like Anthony's company, right, have an advantage over you. So guess what? You don't want your competitor to have something that you don't, because that'll hurt you. And customers today are very smart. Customers today are very different than they were when we were selling cars. I see in the showroom, customers are genius. They know more about the car deal than our salespeople.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they know about the reviews, they know about that. I have a module, how to convert information into a deal. Salespeople are not doing that right now. I walk into these stores, they customer information, they give out information, there's no focus. Customer throws at you information. And I see that all the time. How you handle that is selling them knowledge. Knowledge selling and mentoring your customer really converts a deal. Okay? That's how you do it. You guys know how to hire the right people. You're great trainers, right? And taking that away from the dealership, right? The dealership is not trained to do that. They don't know the time they're going to invest to fail. I'd rather just hire somebody that's going to help me succeed, a coach. I have a few coaches that we hired in our organization, and the reason we hire, we don't know. So why not hire them, and they'll take us to the next level, right? An executive coach. You got to hire people. And if I'm a dealer, what's the reason I would hire you? Well, real simple. You travel all over the country. Your thing is you'll give me an idea from another dealership that could work in my store. And I can turn numbers around just based on 3 or 4 ideas that you give me. By just a 3% increase when you're dealing in the car business, that's a big increase.
Yeah.
You know, and what you said here makes a lot of sense for dealers to really pay attention and hire a company like that. The Fortune 50s and the Fortune 500 companies have a human resource department, but they have a human resource consulting companies. That's what they do. They follow everything by the book, and nothing passes that. And you want to know something? When they hire you, you're going to succeed. Help your people that you hire succeed. Give them the tools. If I hire somebody and I don't give them the tools, what am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's very important. And what you guys bring to the table, we're hiring process, training, and a follow-up process to see if it works or it doesn't. You guys have the 3-prong process, which I would call it. And it's a very lucrative process, and it's a very detailed process. And watching you, and I know a few deals in Long Island that have used you. I know you were in Kia Generation. I know you were in Hyundai. You know, I see what's going on, but those stores are hitting their penetration.
Yeah. I'll actually be I'll be there 2 weeks from today. I'll be up in Bohemia for Joe's store up there, Generation Kia. But I'll be there, and the Atlantic Automotive Group uses myself and Automax as well. I was emailing back and forth today with Peter Zorzi. You know, we're gonna put something together at some point. You know, so yeah. I mean, but here's the thing. You know, when it comes to recruiting and interviewing and training, you know, what I do in Long Island is a little different than the store I'm at here in Illinois, which is a half hour from St. Louis. I'm not anywhere near Chicago. I'm a half an hour from St. Louis.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, and it's a much different area. And the one thing, and you know, I'm from Philly. You know, I still have a home outside Philadelphia. I also got a place in California, but you know, I'm a Philly guy. You're a New York guy, and you know, what I've seen and I've been growing involved is different areas. You know, people in the Midwest and the South and all that, to be able to make that adjustment that's necessary with it. And we do that with our customer base as well. Not every customer is going to be somebody, hey, this is the car I want. I want that XLT model. I want beige interior, blue gut, this, that, or you know, or blue on the outside, you know, leather, something. I mean, all this different stuff. Some people don't come in like that. They're not sure what they want. You need to be a little bit more patient with the process, you know, with it. And also from a negotiation standpoint, and negotiating that way. Some people are just boom, boom, boom. Other people, you have to process a little bit, you have to almost draw it out of them a little bit to get them to talk. It's the same thing when it comes to recruiting and interviewing. Go back into the example of the young lady today. I had to kind of just talk through it with her to see if it was an opportunity, with that. But she sees value in it. Where if that wouldn't have worked in Long Island. It just wouldn't, type of thing. So that's the thing that you grow, and we're always evolving. We talk about this at Automax. We're always changing. Everyone's talking about pivoting now. I guess pivot's this big word now. It's like we pivot every day at Automax, and the audibles and the changes that we do, shifting on the fly in a transaction, what works, what doesn't work, how are we going to do this? It's just it's a lifetime commitment. It really is, and that's important to do that. And you make different decisions that way. My campaign this week is going very well. The campaign next week, my mind's already on that. I've already been in communication with Jane, our executive recruiter. With that, it's this is the first time client that right now, but next week's a long time client. But I know the market, the area, and it's different. To get the people. So it's an ongoing change. So I guess I went off a little bit of a tangent there, but that's what it's about.
I'm glad you brought up about change because, for example, the show. I do the show. I've been doing the show for a year. Automotive Trading News. I did the other day Automotive Dealer News about 3 weeks ago, and I changed the time. I make it convenient. The coach was on, Coach Michael, right? He's great. He was on. I had to put the schedule.
Michael Burt, you have him?
Yeah, Michael Burt.
Coach Burt?
Yeah, great guy.
Great guy. I've met him before. He's a great guy.
I put the schedule together that works for him. I have certain people that I got to put the schedule together that works for that. And you know what? That way I can see what my result is. Maybe at 1 o'clock is the wrong time. I don't care. I want to learn and see and engage. That's what it's about. It's not about me. It's that the show's not about me. The show is about bringing people like yourself, right, and other people that I've brought in that have a solution for the dealer. Because what I really cared, I'm going to say this, what I really care is about the dealership. I care because of the people they employed. When in 2008, when I saw dealers go out of business, I saw 70, 80 people lose a job, from the office staff to the service department to sales. They were gone. Okay, so I developed this to help the dealership because there's a local economy. It was terrible here in Long Island when that happened, until the cash for clunkers, it was bad. You want to know something? That's what the show's about. The show's about, I got to make a change, I'll make it. And the show's about bringing solutions that actually work. I follow people for a long time. I use Facebook as a recruiting arm for solutions for dealers, and I watch the talent and I see, and then I bring you in because it's very important in my area to help the dealers as much as I can. Because it ain't about the dealers. I don't do it for the dealers. I do it for the people that lose jobs, that have been, like, there was a store that went out of business, a Ford store here. The guy was there 60 years. And there were 78 people that lost jobs. I knew them all. Great people. They had a rough time that year and a half till they got back on track. And that's what I don't want to see. I don't want to see. And with this coronavirus, I get flashbacks about this whole thing. It's about, really, really putting the right solution. And now training's more important than ever because you got appointment selling and everybody's at that a digital guy, okay? Digital retailing, we'll see how many digital guys they are, okay? Because digital retailing, you got to have a trained staff, like you guys know how to do, because now you got conversion. It's getting very close in the car business. With Corona, we were making appointments and selling cars, okay? Let me tell you something. Now digital retailing is going to get it. I'm so glad about it because I don't believe in SEO. I believe in paid search. Build your organic a little bit, but I don't believe in SEO because SEO really doesn't exist. A lot of people spend $3,000, $4,000, $7,000 on SEO. I take that same account and put paid search on it, and it converts like that, and they're making money. Okay, SEO is great. It's building your organic is good. But let me tell you, with digital retailing, you better have a trained staff because you're not in front of them one-on-one. Now it's a whole different animal. Okay, now you're selling either on video or on the phone, and not everybody knows how to sell on video. So it's you're talking about a whole different landscape that's going to go on in our industry. And if we don't pay attention, we're going to lose a lot of dealers. The right people at the right time with good trainers that know and that travel around the country and get what somebody else is doing. I want to know because that's how we all learn. So I think your product is great. And I think more and more dealers should pay attention to you guys because what you're doing out there in the industry is making a difference.
Well, thank you, Richie, for saying that. I really appreciate it. You brought up, SEO and advertising and all that, and I think, and it's funny because I had a dealer I talked to last week about this. He asked me, he said, where should I put the money that we pay you at Automax? I mean, should that go in your advertising budget or in training? I said, go in training expense. It doesn't go in your advertising budget. He said, well, my controller thinks it's in advertising. It's not. It's training. The successful dealers have a separate training budget. And a lot of times you look and say, well, okay, I don't want to invest X in training and recruiting, but you're investing X times 10 in advertising. And I think we get so caught up a lot of times in our immediate results. We live in a world that we want that immediate satisfaction right away. Well, sometimes it happens, but sometimes it's a growth process where we can't just look at the 30 days. I know we do that. I mean, I do financial statements myself as a contractor, but I don't look at that and say, okay, in April, it was tough, and I literally had less, minimum wage income, if that. I don't look at it that way. I look at, okay, how am I going to impact lives? How am I going to keep growing? And what's the main goal and the long haul? And that's what we need to do as a store on that. And sometimes that return does come faster. I have an Automax graduate in Tennessee. I graduated him in February. He never sold cars before. Has 3 children, 2 under the age of 5, 1 17. And in his 3rd month in the business in May, he did 35 cars, Richie, and made 16 grand. Not 16 grand in gross for the store. He made 16 grand before taxes for his total income with bonuses and commissions. Now if you told me in February, hey, I'm going to put up a 35 spot 3 months in and make 16 grand. I said, well, I don't know about that, but it's possible. Well, guess what? He made it happen down there in Franklin, Tennessee. So the opportunity is there. And here's the crazy thing about it, Richie. When I interviewed him, he was uncertain and scared about this because he had a position that he was doing well, but he wanted to get off the road, but he was scared to do it, and he wasn't sure. And I'm telling you, if he did not go through a recruiting process, I'm not talking about me specifically, but if he didn't go through a set recruiting process, he would not be in the corner street. Because now him alone, in the money he made for the dealer last month alone, who's a longtime client of ours, that's going to pay literally for the next 10 campaigns. And that's just him, nonetheless. The other 3 people that are down that are crushing it that did well, one did over 20 deals, the other 2 did double-digit deals. So all that return on the investment that there is. So, it's just, you have to be able to look at it that way, where it is there, but are you willing to take that time to be able to understand their needs and show them that you care about them more as a person than production? Because I guarantee you, when you do that, the production will come.
And you know what, Anthony? Dealers always look at training as an expense.
Mm-hmm.
Always. When I worked in a dealership at my beginning years, Jackie B. Cooper, they looked at them as an expense.
Yep.
They always look, it's too much. Okay. So do you want your untrained staff to handle your customers? I never understood that. All right. You rather have untrained staff handle your previous customers, right? So let's kill your retention. Now, look at this thought. It's too much and too expensive. Look what you said about Mr. Dodson, right? Look what happened. Oh, so it's too much money. No, it's never too much if you want to retain your customers.
Amen.
We know that there's 1.4 million new car buyers every month based on registrations and based on loans that are up. We have that data. That data exists.
Mhm.
It's 600,000 subprime customers every month. You want to burn through those customers, right? And you're gonna hit your numbers, some numbers. You're gonna play Russian roulette. But when you have a trained staff, now you're penetrating a market. Now you're penetrating a percentage of your market. Now you're looking like a hero in front of the OEMs. Now you've increased your floor traffic, your travel rate on allocation. They give you more cars. You're turning the inventory better, and you're building a tremendous used car department because the more cars that come in, the more trades you do. Okay,
Mhm.
so really, really, if a trainer charges you $7,000 a day, your ROI is humongous. When you look at the corporate side, at what it's going to really do to you, if a dealer went to Dealer Academy, okay, and graduated from there, there's a lot of metrics that you need to look at. One of the main metrics is I have a trained staff. I'm going to penetrate my market on registrations. I'm going to do more conquest sales. Okay. Not only that, I'm going to increase my travel rate on inventory. And now I'm going to turn my inventory and I'm going to get more used cars. Oh, and what happens when you get more used cars? Your service business blows up. Now you are being profitable.
Yeah.
And now you got to pay attention because a dealership, when somebody explains that to a dealership, it's over. They say, "Where do I sign?" Because it's that simple. You got to show the data to the dealership and they'll pay attention because you know what? It makes no sense what they're doing. Or I hear people say, you know what? It's just too much money. Oh, so you want your untrained staff to handle your customers. I mean, you know, Anthony, and the value that you guys have, it's not that's one part of it. But the other part is they pick the right people for the right job. There's no other company that I know of that does that. So now metrics is what works here. Data is what works. The metrics is you mean to tell me I'm going to hire a company that's going to hire the right person, then train that right person. Hello.
Mhm.
That's what makes you guys different. You know, and I'm really so glad, Anthony, that you came to the show because I had a chance to engage with you a little bit. We've never talked like this, first time, and I've learned a lot from you. And since I've been following you, and today I learned a lot more than I ever thought. So, I mean, it's great, you know, and I think it's really a good product you guys have.
Yeah, and it's the great thing about it too is that there's we have other trainers as well, and not every person is a fit for each store. Maybe I'm not the right fit for your store. It's okay. We have other trainers as well. I mean, I don't have all the answers. I mean, there's some trainers that Automax won't send to Long Island. I'm in Long Island all the time. So I mean, there's different personalities that are like that. So everything's different that way. But it's forever adapting. With that. So we're changing every day. We're trying to figure out. We're just regular people putting their pants on one leg at a time, just like everybody else. But the key is, are you willing to work the inside out? You got to work from the inside out. It's like in basketball. You can chuck up threes like Golden State does, fine. But you know what? If you live by the jump shot, you're going to die by the jump shot. But if you learn how to work it inside and work it in the paint, you're going to be successful night in and night out. And that's what you got to do with it starts with your people. if you want to produce the ROI and you want to increase your production and your service retention and your lease retention, and of course make more money that most people are driven by, it starts with developing your internal talent. And sometimes that talent is like this much talent, but obviously taking the time to show them they can do it and develop their mindset. And that's exactly what it is. And that's what I teach when I train. When I start my training tomorrow, I'm in a 5-day program. I have 4-day, 5-day, and 10-day programs that we have. I'm in a 5-day program. I do 3 days of interviewing. I finish it up today, and I start my training tomorrow. I'm not going to focus on the steps of the sale. That'll come Friday morning. I focus on the first day, the ups and downs of the corner street and how to win the next 15 minutes mentally. With that, preparing your minds. That's what you need to be able to do to win the battle of the mind every day and also develop the confidence, with that. Because not everyone's confident. People are going to have sleepless nights tonight. I sleep with this is next to my face every night, and the phone's, the ringer's all the way up, and it's like when I turn, it turns with me. I have people that will text me at 3 a.m, some bullshit excuse that they can't come, and I hear the ding, and I wake up. Sometimes I'm already awake, and I respond back to it, and I repair them. They're helping with their mindset.
Oh,
Yes, you can do this, and that's just what I do. And some people say, well, you get a life. That's not what you're supposed to do. You know what? It's about the defining purpose. And my defining purpose is to positively impact lives. And that's what we're about at Automax. And we do it the right way. And we never touch dishonest dollars. And that's what we bring. Other training companies can't do that. But when it comes to the character and when it comes to going the extra mile, I'm proud to wear the Automax hat. I absolutely am. And you should be proud to have us in our stores as well.
absolutely. And Anthony, thanks a lot for coming over. And that hat is worth tremendous. And let me tell you something. Automax is really a really good company. I think more dealers should use them. I know it's late and I know you're tired and you got to get up early tomorrow. And I didn't realize what time it was. I lost track of it because I enjoyed this conversation so
when you have two Italians talking, time flies. It just happens.
Right. So anyway, I'm so glad we did all this, and thank you so much for your time. And I really value your time that you put in the business, but most importantly, I could always call you and you're right there for me. So thank you so much, and enjoy your day and sleep well so tomorrow you can do what you do the best. And thank you, Mr. Facebook Nation.
Thank you, Richie. I'm really blessed. And thank you so much for the invite to be on your show and for working that overtime. I'm in Central Time, so I'm an hour ahead of you right now in Illinois. So I know it's 11:15 out there in New York. So thank you so much. And thank your family and your significant other as well for taking time away from them.
Thank you so much, Anthony, and God bless.
Take care, buddy. Thank you.